and welcome to the inaugural episode of Farkas and Shoshan at the Wrestling. I'm Rumini Farkas.
I'm
We
Bleisha
talk
Shan.
about movies starring wrestlers to try and decide once and for all who is the best wrestler turned actor. Spoiler alert, not The Rock. So we're starting off today with Kaiju Mono, the greatest movie of all time, a spoof kaiju flick starring the wrestlers Kota Ibushi, Saki Akai, and Minoru Suzuki. Released in 2016, the same year as Shin Godzilla, which was the inspiration for this film. So Minoru Kawasaki, who directed the movie, made a career of like tokusatsu and kaiju movie parodies, including a remake of The Sinking of Japan called Everything Other Than Japan Sinks. He thought that this Big Godzilla movie coming out, it would be stupid not to take the opportunity to also release a kaiju film. Kaiju Mono means something along the lines of the kaiju genre, so Kawasaki thought it would be funny if someone couldn't get tickets to Shin Godzilla, look to see what other kaiju movies are in theaters, and saw one literally called the Big Monster Movie. By the way, shout out to Joe Translates on Blue Sky for Joe translating some of the Kaiju Mono website for us. For some reason it's still up and running. I'll link it in the show notes because it looks amazing. Check it out if you have the chance. So Minoru Kawasaki, the director, wanted Ibushi to play the giant form of Hideto Nitta for the film and reached out to him in 2015, but unfortunately that was when Ibushi had that cervical disc hernia and he was out for a very long time. And this is also when his double contract with DDT and New Japan ended, and then he was on injury time for a long time, and then he was freelancing for a while. So Kawasaki apparently tried to reach out to some other big names. He says this on the website, and I would love to know who the fuck those were, but it doesn't say. I'm hoping that it was like Okada or something.
I really hope it was Okada. I really, really hope it was Okada.
Or like Shinsuke, you know, like those. God, can you imagine? Anyway, so when Ibushi came back from injury, they were able to start filming with him, and then they made the movie as planned. So as I mentioned, Saki Akai and Minoru Suzuki also star in the movie. Saki is playing an evil spy, which, if I had a nickel for every movie I've seen where Saki plays an evil spy, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
It is weird, but it does seem natural considering her physiology.
In that she's long?
Yeah, I think that's an evil trait.
Yeah, I mean, those are the 2 movies that she starred in, and both directors are like, you are evil to me, due to her longness,
Because
I
she's
guess.
long like Spider.
Yeah. Yeah, and Suzuki also appears at the very end, but apparently due to his busy schedule, they could only get him for like that one scene, but it's an amazing appearance. And playing the normal version of Hideto Nitta is Shusuke Saito, who played Ian Yorkland in Zyuden Sentai, one of them Sentais, you know. I forgot to write it down properly. And I haven't seen it, but it does have pretty bad ratings, which doesn't necessarily reflect on the quality of the series, but it's kind of funny that that's the guy that they got for this movie. And on the website, Kawasaki does say that this is his greatest work yet, so let's get into it. Because I agree. It's the greatest movie
It's phenomenal.
ever
I
made.
have not watched Everything But Japan Sinks yet, but I believe him that this is the masterwork. Because it is a stroke of genius.
Like, the first time I watched it, like, a year ago, I was like, this is boring and not even a really good parody. And then I watched it a second time a couple of weeks ago, and I thought that this is the greatest film that's ever been made.
Genuinely astonishing. A lot happens.
A lot happens. So we start off with like a narration that immediately like sets the tone for the movie. We watched the English dub of the film because I don't think there is subs available.
I don't think so. I think we could have got it if one of us broke and bought the Blu-ray, but I didn't have Blu-ray money or the patience to wait for one to arrive in the mail, and I'm also pretty certain most of the places that offer to sell the Blu-ray are lying to me.
Yeah. And also a moment of silence because the website that we watched this movie on just got copyright striked. So, rest in fucking peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, so the movie starts off with a narration, so that it's English, but I think the narrator is doing a really great job. And we immediately like set the tone because the narration says something like Mother Nature is fed up with our bullshit. So we get a lot of the like kaiju movie classics of like there is earthquakes, there's natural disasters all over the world. In Japan, Mount Myojin is going to have an earthquake going on.
There's a prehistoric flower species that's back.
Yeah, it's really good. We have to figure out how to include pictures in the show notes because it looks so plastic.
It's beautiful. It's genuinely, I love a bad prop. I love a bad prop like nothing else.
They have so many. They have so many of these in this movie.
But we get all of these weird natural phenomenons happening, at which point we meet Dr. Saigo, who is this weird scientist. He invented a procedure called the setup Excel thing.
It doesn't work though at this point.
It doesn't work. Because I don't think they have the setup
him.
X cells. Yes, they don't have. He doesn't have the serum, but he invented it. It's beautiful.
They never really. There is just like a lot of tropes in this movie that they never really expand on. So like you got Professor Saigo, and he's like, it doesn't work, and then later he just invents it again. Don't worry about it. But so
he
all of
invented
this,
it
like,
for the patent. It's really beautiful commentary on intellectual property and how it's bullshit.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And then so because all of this like narration thing is something that a woman in a car is watching on like a car TV. I don't know. They don't. That's new to me. New technology in 2016. Also, this movie looks like it was filmed in 2004. I just wanna like it doesn't. It looks crunchy. I was gonna say bad, but it's not. It's good. It's great.
It's incredible, but it's vintage. It's a fine vintage.
Yeah. But and then another trope that we got here is that the woman in the car and her friends are YouTubers, or like they have a website or something like that, influencers, and they're going to this this forest because they have heard that there is supernatural phenomena there, which is I wrote it down. I wrote it down in my notes.
It's called Spectre Pass, I believe. That's what I wrote down. And there are weird lights there.
Weird lights, yeah, it's incredible. And they meet a guy in a denim kimono, which is great. There is no costuming in this movie. Everyone is just wearing their own clothes, including Ibushi.
Yeah, and I love it. The denim kimono is an outfit I want, personally. Like, I really do badly want it. I don't know that it's good fashion, but I do want it.
It looks fascinating because it's really well done. Like all the latches and stuff were done like it's jeans, but it's a denim kimono. I don't know. And then he does some exposition, which he literally just says, "I'm going to give you some exposition" or something like that, because that's just how this movie is written. And then he gives some God, what was it? So there is the monster that eats virgins or something. Like they're
Yes.
And then they harp on a lot about virgins for a long time.
They do. In my notes, I say there's some virgin discussion, and then for some reason the way I wrote it is, warns against filming is ignored. Kaiju attack kills all, underlined 3 times. Which I think is, again, it's a very tropey intro.
Yeah, but...
And it's really, like, I believe the core of the comedy of that scene for me is just how much it follows. It just drags on a bit too long to be a good exposition.
Yeah.
It's a weird warning, not because anything he says is explicitly weird except the virgin shit, but he reiterates a bit too much.
Yeah, it's also they're hitting a lot of tropes from like other movies, because I like, admittedly I've not watched a ton of kaiju movies, but this sounds more like a spirit, like a haunting, like supernatural horror film intro where like the YouTubers get killed by a spirit, but it's not that. It's a big monster that eats them.
It's so good. It's so good.
And also, it's implied
Genuinely.
that this thing has been around on this mountain for ages because people have like seen it and stuff, but it hasn't because later in the movie they say that it was asleep for like 1,000 years or something. It's really good. They also I do want to mention that when the girl dies, she pads her bra with this silicone like insert, and that somehow betrays that she was a virgin because she said she wasn't, but she padded her bra, so that means she was a virgin. I don't know why. This means that she was a virgin.
Listen, it makes sense.
No,
I
it's
don't know how, but somehow in my heart it makes sense. But it is offensive to me as like a chronic bra padder.
uh it is it's just a really good intro, and then we do get like an animated intro sequence which is just scenes from the film. It's great. And then after I did write this down because it's a really good line from Denim Kimono Man. He finds their remains and he says these virgins should have listened.
They should have.
Yeah. And then, so this is when we get introduced to our main character, currently not played by Kota Ibushi. Yeah, so his name is Nitta Hideto, and he is the assistant of the previously introduced scientist dude. And he's in this forest with his daughter looking at the weird plant.
Not his daughter, the scientist's daughter.
Yeah. Sorry. So the scientist's daughter, Miwa.
Miwa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's also his assistant. So they're both his assistants. Does this make sense?
It does make sense. There's a doctor, scientist, Dr. Saigo. He has a kid called Miwa, and he has an assistant. The kid is also his assistant, but he has another assistant called Nita Hideto.
Exactly, and that's the main character.
And Nita is in love with Miwa.
Yeah, this is immediately obvious.
It is incredibly obvious he wants her really badly. Me personally, I think that's wrong because dating someone who works in the same lab as you is incest. But
Yeah.
he is in love with her.
Uh,
The volcanic activity sort of picks up.
they run
You
into
know.
the denim guy. They run
Oh,
into
they
the
do.
and it turns out that his name is in the English dub says his name is Professor Izumi-san, and this is I think the only time that they use an honorific in the English dub.
I'm
Which
almost certain, and I was really confused.
and also it turns out that he is a professor of anthropology and also Shintoism, which is why he's wearing a denim kimono. I don't know why that means that he, denim Shintoism, my new religion, join now. And this is when Miwa explains a really important plot point in the movie. Maybe the most important running theme is that her dad is so sad that he got into cross-dressing. And this is the point. I haven't written down Professor Saigo's name at any point because I only call him cross-dressing dad. So
I think that's beautiful. I also hope that that's my future. If I stick in academia, this is my future. Hopefully.
yeah, it's gonna be incredible, and then all of your colleagues
40
and
years from now, I'm gonna be like, I really regret getting into cross-dressing. It's gonna happen.
No, but he doesn't regret getting into cross-dressing.
He doesn't, but yeah, that's a good point. So, you see, that's pride.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and she tells Professor Izumi that they need to figure out Setup XL so that her dad stops cross-dressing. Which is, I don't know how. I don't know if that's going to work.
Also, just a little note, the purpose of Setup X cells, because this is, for some, like, they're just kind of a thing. They do whatever they want them to do, because it's a very, it's a very silly film. But just for the record, what they say Setup X cells do is kick off the next stage of human evolution, which is interesting because it does imply that you can evolve from a nerd to a bodybuilder and then evil. And I think that's really beautiful. I think that's such a good vision of our future.
The next step in human evolution is Kota Ibushi.
which seems true, and sadly was not discussed by Yuval Noah Harari in his very bad book, History of the Future,
God.
or whatever the fuck it's called.
It's definitely called something different.
Yeah, but I don't remember. And
It doesn't matter. It's bad.
Yeah, it is. It's bad. I hate him. I used to run a hate website for him.
That's beautiful. So, after Izumi like explains to them, gives exposition again, which is different from the previous. Every time someone gives exposition in this movie, it's different from the previous exposition. But they do go into the forest and then find a weird egg. So that's important. And also find the bra padding. Anita doesn't know what bra padding is, which is important, I think, to his character. Because he's a huge virgin, I think is important to know.
Yeah, it's really crucial. And then he transforms into the similarly virginal Kota Ibushi.
No, but in this movie, he is not virginal. In this movie...
No, but he starts out virginal. It's his essence. And then he is corrupted.
Yeah, then he turns into Minoru Suzuki, who fucks. Yeah.
As we all know.
Yeah, and then there is an earthquake. Yeah, so earthquakes start happening, and this is when this is the first time we see cross-dressing dad. And when I start calling him, he's not good at cross-dressing. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
He has cross-dressing. He's wearing a bad wig, a Sailor Moon T-shirt, and is holding like a Sailor Moon. I haven't seen Sailor Moon. I don't know how this is plot relevant.
Yeah, I listen. The thing is, I love cross-dressing dad because I love cross-dressing and I love dads, and that's wonderful. It does always feel a bit ontological to me when a movie just says, just as an asides, let's add in some transmisogyny.
It's not great.
It's not great, but I do think it's fascinating how the only person who truly gives a fuck about the cross-dressing is Biwa.
Yeah, and she the only reason that Miwa hates the cross-dressing is because because her mom is dead, and she thinks that her mom would hate to see her dress that cross-dress. Which I don't know. Maybe we should ask the mom. Maybe she loved it.
Right, maybe she loved it. Maybe who's to say? Miwa is exhibiting some real cis-womanism, and I think that's sad.
Exactly.
But
Professor Izumi also hates cross-dressing because it does say that he's never going to get horny again or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're haters and they don't know what's up. But he is also not good at cross-dressing. They look at the egg. The egg has Setup Excel in it or something. This is the point where he invents Setup Excel again, and then he decides that they need to do clinical trials, which is just injecting Nitta with Setup Excel.
Yes, but before this, I think we forgot to mention a really important moment, at least a moment that's important for me, which is when the Kaiju rights activist...
No, that's after this. I did write it down. It's after this.
Oh, so I'm stupid.
Yeah, but this scene is not that important. I just wrote down that at one point, to convince Nitta, cross-dressing that does say you would become the Ryan Gosling of modern science, and I don't understand what that means. But it's so 2016. Like,
it's very 2016.
Like 2016, Ryan Gosling was the only sexy man that an English-speaking person could think of. So this is when we have the second monster appearance. So they have the monster appear, and then they have the Japan Defense Force there to defeat the monster, and the kaiju rights activists come out.
They come out and they give it a name.
Oh yeah, they name it.
They name it Mono, which I think is very kind of them. But I do think it's sad that they didn't ask. The kaiju, if you're fighting for kaiju rights, also fight for kaiju autonomy.
Exactly.
Including in self-naming. But they name it, and then the leader of the kaiju writes or gets eaten by the kaiju, which is either apt social commentary because don't negotiate with fascists, or it's actually lib shit. And it might be lib shit. It's sort of like acting like every Premi is the Unabomber.
No, you know what? You know what it is? Is that the kaiju rights activist says a couple of fun and interesting things. First of all, she says the sexiest kaiju has come because nature's pissed off, and she also tells the kaiju that she's a virgin and she wants the kaiju to take her. So, what instead I think happened is that this is a beautiful union, and this is the dream of every monster fucker that has come true. This is my belief about this scene, which is great. But it does eat the kaiju, and then they have a joke about, which is, I think it's a joke about how the Japan Defense Force needs permission to shoot at anything, which is like, I kind of like because a lot of kaiju movies are about how Japan is cocked, military wise, and this is because of World War II. So I don't know if this is making fun of that, or what, but it feels like it.
It does feel like it. I do love that almost always when there's a comedy movie and there's the army in that movie, the army will be shown to be simultaneously very brutal and also totally ineffective.
Yeah.
I never quite know where it sits. It's very hard to tell vibes-wise whether it's like complaining that there's too much regulation or complaining that there's too much fascists. Unclear to me.
I feel like it's both. Also, they have. This is where we first see the miniatures. Incredibly important to mention. I think I've said this of 100 times so far. They have like toy tanks basically pointed at the kaiju, which is just like a guy. And then it is also immune to bullets, so that's really cool. And it has laser. It has a beam attack. The kaiju, because oh my god, because in Shin Godzilla, the kaiju has a beam attack. I just remembered this.
Yeah, that's why. It's really beautiful. I also loved, this is just like a small note, I watched a lot of the behind the scenes footage, and I wanted to remark that while the sets are garbage, I did keep watching the behind the scenes footage and being like, wow, that guy is really big. Like, I don't know why it did successfully. This is something that happens to me with a lot of like tokusatsu style effects, where I know consciously that everything looks like shit and looks like plastic and looks like toys. But I watch it and I'm like, incredible, they found such a big guy, bigger than a building, to play the kaiju. Where is that guy?
This is so real because I was watching Kamen Rider and I literally experienced this when it was just forced perspective. It's great. No, because I literally believe that Kaiju Mono is real and will come for us.
Yes.
Also, oh my god, speaking of the sets, I laughed so bad because they filmed most of the movie in one parking lot. And they did, so when they like show the, I don't know, the military HQ, it's in the parking lot, and then they show the parking lot from a different angle, like 2 scenes later. It's incredible. World famous parking lot. We need to go there.
We do.
Also, it turns out that that Kaiju Mono like negates technology or something. This is new. We get the classic conference room scene from every kaiju movie where the government talks about. I'm sure that there's a lot of cameos there. I don't recognize anybody.
Yeah, I really wanted to find out who is there. I looked at the cast, but there wasn't anyone I recognized. It feels like those are cameos. It's shot like those are cameos. I sadly don't know enough about low-budget Japanese comedy as a scene, so I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah, but I'm sure that it was amazing for somebody to see. But yeah, so apparently Kaiju Mono like negates all technology, which means that they can't use anything technological to fight him. And then Professor Izumi shows up in a suit this time, no denim kimono, very sad, we need to kill ourselves. And he also says a lot of exposition here which doesn't make sense. Apparently the kaiju senses its virgin prey with electric pulses. And then he also he I think that what he says is that they need to fuck the kaiju. Hold on. Yeah. No, he says that like we need to fight the kaiju with our pants down, basically.
Yeah.
Which is
Which is a really fascinating way to put it.
yeah, they need to fuck the kaiju. What he does also tell them is to find cross-dressing dad, because he can help them. And then there is a scene that I don't understand, and I want to ask you if you understood this scene. They ask cross-dressing dad for help, and he says no. And then he also says that if the secret agent guy who's there can defeat Nita, then he will help them. And then they do like they do jokes. Like I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is like mostly just a bait and switch of like you're expecting a battle, but this guy is a wimp loser, therefore it's a battle of wits, but it's not a real battle of wits, it's a battle of jokes.
But
I assumed that's sort of what it was going for, but I also didn't really understand this scene. A lot of this movie is bits that I watched and then I had seen them.
yeah, I think it's probably funny in Japanese, is what I think. Because what the secret agent.
It also might be, yeah.
But the secret. I did understand that bit. The secret agent guy, like, does impressions of famous kaiju movies.
Yes.
And then Nita makes a joke that's like. What does the gay ghost say or something? And the punchline was blowjob. I'm sure that this is funny in Japanese. I'm sure that this is so funny.
Right, it's I really wish we had gotten to see this subbed, because I feel maybe the performance would have given us hints, or if we understood Japanese, this would have helped.
Yeah, we should have spent 7 years learning Japanese before talking about this movie, honestly.
Yeah, we're not dedicated enough.
Okay, so this is, and we come upon the most important scene in the movie, because Nita doesn't want to take Setup Excel. He has to, he's gonna. And the way that cross-dressing dad convinces him is that he knows that Nita is into Miwa. And
Miwa is into bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Which rules.
It's great.
Rules.
So
Rules. It's a great way to convince a guy. I love it.
So he pulls out a magazine that was his but Miwa stole. That is like bodybuilders, and then hold on, I did grab this, so we're going to listen to this beautiful audio file.
Line delivery.
Silence.
What kind of muscles do you like to see?
Oily pecs and that nice V above the D.
Oh?
Okay, incredibly important. So,
Really important. The kaiju will be fought using heterosexual mind powers.
exactly, oily pecs. It's really
Oily
good.
pecs.
Like, yeah, so
It does also kind of read like the setup to one of those gay transformation pornos.
it does. It does.
I don't know if straight guys have those, but I feel like they must. Is that also a thing? They must.
They must.
Anyway.
They have to. Okay, so this is second most important scene of the movie because Saki Akai shows up. She's wearing a leather jacket and she is apparently not Japanese in this movie because her name is Lisa.
Right, and yeah, for unclear reasons. This does not raise any red flags for anybody. Also for unclear reasons.
Yeah, so she's just like, her code name is Scorpion and she's just like a spy watching Nita. So they went out.
Yeah, it's one of those ambiguous foreign secret agent situations where I'm like, they could have called her American KGB and I would just assume that this is the point. Like, it does not matter what intelligence agency she's part of, she just is nefarious.
Yeah, but she's American, they do say this later, but we'll get to the scene, it's fascinating.
It is.
So, they're in the parking lot again, and they made Nita huge pants that are going to conform to his... This is going to be important later, remember the big pants. So they inject him with Setup XL. We see like a moment of Ibushi naked ass before he puts the pants on.
Which was great for me.
And-
And then he fights the kaiju. He wrestles the kaiju.
He does fight. He wrestles the kaiju. I didn't write down. Oh, this is when Soichiro Takagi and the DDT ring announcer show up. They have this little cameo, and they start commentating the match essentially. So I didn't write down every move that happens.
I really badly wanted to, but then we went back to check and the website was down. Once again, rest in peace. I wanted to note that this is a pretty decent match.
It is!
And that it's genuinely, it's well paced. Obviously Ibushi is brilliant, hits some really good moves. I assume that he won mostly because Kaiju Germany does not exist since they live in a utopian society, so the Kaiju was not prepared for a German suplex. But genuinely, it's a good match. It's a good fight. I enjoyed watching it. The behind the scenes footage is really fun because Ibushi was really stiff for no reason.
He was just hitting this kaiju?
He was hitting that kaiju really hard. Like, we should watch it later, but, like, genuinely, if you watch the behind the scenes footage, it's up on YouTube. We'll add it in the podcast notes or something, so everyone should watch it. They're just in this set, and Ibushi is fighting the kaiju, and you can hear every single kick connecting really hard, and the punches as well. Like, he genuinely worked that kaiju quite stiff, and it's really funny.
God, it would not be Ibushi if he wasn't. Why? That's so funny. They needed to use that suit. Why was he hitting it?
I don't know. I really don't know. And he keeps making Ibushi noises, but that's because he's Ibushi.
It's really sad that in the dub they dubbed his noises over.
Yeah, I was really disappointed by that.
Yeah. There is a really good bit here because Crossdressing Dad also commentates, but he uses like really outdated names for the moves because he would have been watching wrestling in like the 80s, which is funny. I enjoyed that. But
yeah,
it does.
Was really good.
So it does defeat the kaiju. So the kaiju runs away, and then Ibushi becomes small again, but he stays Ibushi. And
which does surprise everyone, and now he's hot and a hero.
Exactly.
So
and then
adoration from the people of Japan.
Miwa immediately motorboats him.
The woman knows what she likes.
Exactly.
And it's oily pecs.
It's hold on.
Oily pecs.
Yeah. So so this is his famous arc. He's sexy now. He's defeated the kaiju, so we get like a montage of him being sexy. He's on like TV shows and women want to fuck him. He also has like 3 lines. Like when he's Ibushi, he doesn't speak, which I'm assuming is because he was not good at it, but we will never know because we couldn't hear his beautiful voice. He does make Ibushi face the entire time, like the little turtle like face that he makes.
Yeah. While he's famous, he kisses Lisa. And Miwa is really
exactly
broken-hearted.
because like a picture of them kissing is on a TV show or something. Also, everyone keeps talking about his penis. Yeah, there is a scene where he's like in an ad for sushi, which I found really great. They have a cameo where the guy says that I'm a cameo that American audiences may not know, and I didn't. I'm not American, but I didn't.
Yeah, we didn't know it either. It was very sad. I wish I did know it. But to get back to the kaiju business, the
egg is glowing
Miwa
and it got bigger.
Goes to the egg.
And this is when they figure out that the egg belongs to the kaiju, even though I thought that was obvious to everybody immediately.
Yeah, I just assumed that was what the point of it showing up earlier was, but I'm really glad that they didn't know. Because now they find out.
They take the egg to the kaiju, and then some guys say some misogynistic things about the kaiju.
Yeah, because she's a girl kaiju, so.
Yeah. You know. Oh yeah. So I didn't even I completely forgot that they find out that the kaiju is a woman. I'm just like, this kaiju has given birth. It's fine. Any gender. You know, I'm too woke. Anyway, Ibushi fights the kaiju again, but beats his ass this time because he is no longer a virgin.
Yeah, seemingly that's the reason. It's also just like I think that fight is less good than the previous one. It's just a bit less interesting to me. I'm not sure why.
I think
Because there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just the first fight for me, I was so excited. It was a great match. Second one, I'm like, it's sort of a mid-card situation. Mid-movie, mid-card.
it's kind of like, I think it's because it's shorter as well. I think they needed to just rush it. That's my guess, but it's not really like the point because I think the first fight, the point was this is Kota Ibushi and he's doing wrestling moves and he's fighting this kaiju, and the point of the second fight, it has like plot reasons, which I'm assuming it might be because they scripted it more. Yeah, but it's not as good, and then everyone is like, you are cocked now and we hate you because you lost to a woman or something.
Yeah, so he's hated, and then his day gets worse because Saki Akai, Lisa, she steals his
She
trunks.
does so because there is like a fascinating. So cross-dressing dad and the secret agents think that Lisa, the Saki Akai, wants to steal Ibushi, like set up X, because the Americans want Big Gene or something. They want to turn every American into Kota Ibushi.
But apparently the Americans already have super soldiers. They already invented the technology. Japan is really late to invent super soldiers, but revolutionary underwear technology.
Yeah, and
Revolutionary.
so the reason that this is where we find out that they're Americans, and the reason that they want this is because Americans are fat and they need big underwear. I mean, I understand the appeal of like underwear that doesn't stretch when you gain weight, but you know, we harp on for like 10 minutes about how Americans are fat and they need big underwear.
Yeah, it's one of the weaker jokes. Also, I could not relate to it since I have stopped wearing underwear.
Incredibly important information to share on this public platform. So
Sure. I'm a free-spirited modern woman. I'm not a woman, but whatever.
So
anyway.
her boss does fuck Saki over here because they're like, we are evil and we've stolen these pants. You will not get paid. And then she has a fight scene, and this fight scene sucks.
It's not good, which is really disappointing because Saki can fucking go.
She can go, and you know the other Saki movie that we watched that we are going to talk about, her fight scenes also suck, and that's because like it's stunts and it's not wrestling, and she's obviously not good at that. She's good at wrestling.
Yeah, and it's such a shame because wrestling scene in a movie is fun. We just proved it in this one.
Yeah,
like
it could
wrestling
work.
scene as in an action film is really really good. But when you make a wrestler do stunts, it just doesn't always work. Sometimes it does. It can. We've seen that with some of the American sort of big wrestlers who then transitioned into acting. But it is just, you have to actually transition into acting and learn a completely new style of stage fighting.
Yeah.
It doesn't work here at all. But she has like a 5v1 or a more v1, I don't remember.
Yeah, there is like
and she does win.
She does win. She looks cool. And then she goes to tell me. I don't even know what she tells Miva. I think she just tells Miva to go and help not Ibushi. What's his name? Nita. But they do have a scene. And I did write down lesbians ? And then Saki immediately said, "We're not gonna have some weird lesbian scene, are we?"
Yeah, genuinely, she read my mind.
Yeah, but I do believe in this. There is this part of the movie confused me, and I didn't understand it. Ibushi goes to the forest where he and Miva found that flower, and then he broods. His name is continually not Ibushi, it's Nita. I keep forgetting that it's not just Ibushi.
Yeah, this happened to him in real life.
So this happened to him in real life, exactly. His heterosexual adventure. So he has like a flashback of their first scene, except it goes differently, and he sings a really bad song.
He does.
He sings a really bad song about how Miva is beautiful or something. And then Professor Izumi finds him. He's again in a denim kimono. Thank God, we're back. World peace has been restored. And then they have like a training sequence in which they play like a just south of copyright free version of the Rocky theme.
Yeah, I love that bit. That was my favorite bit of the soundtrack. I really enjoyed it because it was so close, and it was a really good joke. Also, the training sequence is pretty fun. It has a lot of bits that are like, again, pulling on those classic training montages that you get in martial arts films. Just hitting all of the tropes, and then also he stops a waterfall.
He does stop a waterfall by just hitting it, and there is like a flash of lightning. It's great. I like this. I like the training scene because they do hit every trope, but like twice over.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the really good bits in this movie are just them doing the bit for too long, and then I laugh anyway. Yeah, but it's really good, and also Professor Izumi has a bokken in the entire training sequence. They don't use it. Why does he have that? Also, I did write down Vetibushi. Important.
It is important.
They do douse him in water. Yeah, I don't know why I wrote this down. Can I see Professor Izumi's Twitter? I think that
Yeah. He
says
does
that
say that he has one. I am so curious as to what's on it because I cannot even imagine. He's a weird guy. He's a weird man. He truly is. I hope he's a seamstress and made the denim kimono himself and posted about it. I just want to know.
I feel like he's one of those dudes who posts like inspirational quotes and occasionally retweets porn, and then you're like, what's happening?
It might be that he's also like, again, he's a weird academic, so is also the risk that he like usually tweets about his research or whatever the fuck he's teaching or getting interested in, and then every so often he is like, now I want to give a political opinion that is not interesting and is also bad. Like, I want to see this man's lib Twitter.
God, fascinating. He would tell people to go, Pokemon Go to the polls or something. I believe in this. They need to modify Setup XL because it doesn't work anymore and they need to make it evil or something.
Yeah, they have to add an evil gene to Setup XL so that... Because, you see, he fights too clean. And now that he's no longer a virgin, it doesn't work anymore. So,
yeah,
they have to add an evil gene to the serum, so they inject Nita again.
He does fight, so he does fight
does.
the kaiju for a little bit, and then it doesn't work, even though he did all the training, so why the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, it doesn't. He does a bit better than the previous fight, because in the previous fight he got, like, poison misted and electrocuted, and just immediately lost. Whereas in this one, he does pretty well, but then the kaiju grabs him and has electric powers, and that lays him down. So they inject him again, this time with evil serum.
And he turns into Minoru Suzuki, and the best scene in the entire movie is when, like, an advertisement flies off one of the buildings and lands in Suzuki's head, and it becomes his tower.
It's so good.
Whenever I watched this movie with my sister, and ever since, whenever we've seen a Suzuki match on like DDT or something, we turn to each other and go, remember that scene in Kaiju Mono when the tower flew off the building? Because it's just incredible. It's really good.
Really good. It's phenomenal. Also, I regret not showing this movie to my brother.
Yeah, I mean, you still... Oh my god, you can't.
I can't because they took the website down. I'm gonna buy the fucking Blu-ray or something.
Yeah, he does. I didn't write down the moves, but he does do a gotch-style pile driver and finishes the kaiju. Yeah, and then he turns back into Ibushi.
He does turn back into Ibushi, but I do think the fact that Suzuki managed to win is proof that shoot style is superior.
Exactly. He also does use some kind of foreign object. I forgot what it was.
He does. Fighting dirty is fine.
Exactly.
But then they find out there's a big twist. There's a big twist because they find out that the kaiju is just basically a 70-year-old woman with a kaiju.
The guy delivering this news, I forgot to write his name down, but it's the guy who played the original Ultraman. And
it is.
He's like 900 years old. And then they don't, like, he's not any kind of expert or anything. They're just like, this is the guy, he is Ultraman, he's not going to explain to you what the Kaiju's deal is. Which is that...
I think he's supposed to be like a biologist or something, but he just comes to them and he's like, this is basically a 70-year-old woman if one were a kaiju.
Yeah.
So they get an old woman expert.
Yeah.
Because she's not evil, she's just postmenopausal or whatever.
Yeah, and then they say that she's just an old woman who wants to have a child. But I don't understand this because they already gave the egg back to her. So what's...
Yeah.
There was also, we skipped over this because it doesn't make sense, but there is so much exposition about this kaiju, and none of it makes sense because they say that it was like sleeping under a mountain, and then they also say that it was an ancient like species that came about when like crocodiles or like reptiles and monkeys started to fuck or something like that. And then they also say that the Chinese, like ancient Chinese, observed this monster, and then it's also apparently an old woman, but it's been around Spectre Pass. So there's a lot happening, and none of it is really relevant. Basically,
it had every kaiju origin story, but it's one kaiju.
Yeah, and it's an old woman as well. And then they give her back the egg again. I don't know. They already gave her the egg. Did they get the egg back?
I think what happened was she didn't get the egg. Like, she came to get the egg, but they didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Give it to her, because that's when the second fight happens.
Yeah, so, and then she leaves, and then Nita turns back into not Ibushi. And then Miwa is sad for a little bit, and then she's like, it's okay because your dick is still big.
Yeah. Which, you know, she's settling, but it's fine.
It's fine. She can still get with Saki if she gets bored, so I do believe this.
Right, exactly.
And then the...
I also wanted to say
Yeah?
about the fight, just before we move on, I wanted to say that this one was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed seeing Suzuki try to shoot style on the kaiju. And I really, like, it's really good because he is wrestling that kaiju like the kaiju is Gotch. Right? Like, he is wrestling like he's wrestling Gotch. He's wrestling like he's, you know, like he's in Pancrase at some points. And I'm like, I don't understand. Again, both he and Ibushi went so hard on that kaiju. They needed the suit.
It's so funny. Like, there was no direction given to Suzuki. I think he was just like hitting that thing. But it was amazing. He was also like, because Ibushi, especially the second fight, he was working it a little bit like, okay, we're filming, you know, we're gonna cut and stuff. Suzuki was working it like the audience, like the people behind the cameras were the audience. Like, he was trying to get heat.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was amazing.
It was really, really good. Like, it fully just looked like he was working a live match, which, as someone who loves thinking about Suzuki doing mascot wrestling, which he should do more,
yeah.
like, I really need to see that. It was really fun. It was a really, really good match, and it was genuinely just... it was the best one in the movie, I think, by far.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like the first one.
So the closing narration says that Kaiju Mono will be back when we are too horny, and we closed the movie with this message. I don't know why this 70-year-old woman cares that we're horny, but it's okay.
I also love how she kills virgins to stop people from being horny.
I mean, I guess...
That's...
I guess if you die, you can't lose your virginity, I guess.
I suppose so, that does make sense.
Yeah, but it's not really...
It's philosophically, it's a very deep film. So we have to wrestle with it some more before we can understand it.
Yeah, I don't think I will ever understand it, to be honest with you, but it is the greatest movie of all time. Order the Blu-ray on a legitimate website that will send you the Blu-ray, because there is no other way to watch this movie right now. I found some torrents that haven't been seeded in 5 years, so... It's very sad. Not even on archive.org. No one can save us. But do watch this.
Yeah.
Do watch this movie some way. Spend money on it. Go to I looked into it, and the only reason that it has an English release is because some kind of Canadian like Kaiju festival, like horror movie festival, did it, which is why it's shit. But we're really grateful to those people as well, so we could experience this masterpiece.
Yeah, they did important work. Sort of closing thoughts on the movie. Ibushi is not a good actor. However, he's not good, but he is magnetic, which is...
He's not magnetic, he just...
And I don't know if it's because I'm in love with him or not.
It is!
I think it might just be because I'm in love with him. But I just... He was still such a confusing person, even though he was not playing himself. Also, he wasn't playing anyone, he was just being Ibushi, but
He was...
saying like 3 lines.
There was at one point where I had to stop the movie because I recognized the t-shirt that he was just a white t-shirt that he wears, but I know that he was wearing the t-shirt in 2016, which is how you know that you've seen too many Ibushi. Too much of him. But yeah,
Yeah, that happened to me.
it's just his own clothes, which is really funny. Like, the only people that they really costumed was cross-dressing dad, Saki, and the denim kimono. And everyone else was just...
and wearing their own clothes, including the kaiju, that was not a costume.
No, the kaiju was just real. So...
Yeah.
So, we're doing a bit that will be a running bit, hopefully, if we make another episode of this podcast ever. So we're gonna recommend matches of the wrestlers in this gorgeous movie. Do you wanna go first?
I'd love to go first. I also don't know which one yours is, so I'm gonna react animatedly when you tell me. But I am choosing to recommend Suzuki versus Ken Shamrock from PWFG, that's Pro Wrestling Fujiwara Gumi, in 1992. They had a few matches back in PWFG. It's shoot style, because that's just what Fujiwara liked. It is shoot style, it is a different vibe to the stuff they did together at Pancrase, which is also very good. But the PWFG match that I'm recommending, I just really like it. It is intense in a lot of ways. It is very grounded. They both clearly know what they're doing, and they have really good chemistry, the two of them. I love Ken Shamrock. Everyone loves Ken Shamrock, obviously. But it's a good match, and it's one of those few times that Suzuki faced a Shamrock and won. Now, you may say this is because the match was fixed, because it's pro wrestling. However, I'm choosing to declare Suzuki as strong as fuck. I love this match. I just really love it, and I really want people to watch PWFG matches, because a lot of them are bad, but a lot of them are really, 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 really good. And I need to make people watch more shoot style.
Fuck yeah. I haven't seen this
From
either.
the 90s.
From the 90s. I haven't seen this either, so I'm gonna have to check it out. Okay, so...
It's on YouTube. We'll add it at the notes.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. So mine is... It does include Chris Brooks, but I didn't end up going with their 2021 singles match. It's really good, but I ended up going with Jun Akiyama and Saki Akai versus Asuka, that's Venny, and Chris Brooks at Wrestle Peter Pan 2022, just because I think that's really good. I
love this one.
I like Saki and Akiyama teaming. I like Venny showing up. I like Chris and Saki in any match because they're both long freaks, and I enjoy that. Yeah, so I don't have as much.
Those two, they love pulling moves on each other that I don't think could work with anyone who didn't have really gangly limbs.
Yeah.
They sometimes twist into positions where I take a screenshot and I send it to my friends who don't watch wrestling, and they're like, I can't figure out whose leg is where.
Yeah, it's incredible. No, I really like that match. And I also like, so you don't often see Saki and Venny against each other, but they're both really good. So anyway, great match. Watch it. So I think that's all we have for this episode of Farkas.
That's the end of the pod.
That's the end of the pod. So we are going to have, we haven't done this yet, but by the time this comes out, we're going to have a Tumblr and a Blue Sky. Wait, no, I have them. Okay, hold on. I'll put it in the fucking show notes. I don't know. Anyway, it's some variation of Farkas and Shoshan podcast or something like that. Look that up. You can find it. You're smart people.
We'll link. We have a Tumblr, we have a Blue Sky. We'll link them in the show notes. Rumi does not currently remember, but it's some variation on Farkas and Shushan at the wrestling.
Exactly.
Shushan spelled with an O.
Yeah. So we haven't. Should we decide what movie we're doing next? So there is excitement.
No.
Oh, okay.
We'll leave it up. We'll let them find out.
We will do a movie next time, and you will enjoy it just as much as you enjoyed this episode of Farkas and Shoshan at the wrestling.
But it will be a less good movie because this genuinely is the peak of the cinema.
This is the best movie that we're ever going to talk about. So tell your friends about our gorgeous podcast. Rate and review us, please, on your podcast platform of choice. And we will be back whenever the fuck.
Next time.
Next time, exactly.
Bye-bye.